Townsville is on notice to maybe host the NRL Grand Final this weekend after 3 mystery COVID cases emerged in Brisbane. Let's go to the Nationals' Senator Matt Canavan now to get his thoughts on this. Senator, good to see you. What do you think?
Look, I hope the Queensland government doesn't rush to change things here. I think what I've been saying for months, we've got to manage the coronavirus situation. Look, if there are a few more outbreaks, it might make sense not to have a major sporting event in Brisbane, but let's just wait and see. Look, of course, it'll be a huge boon for North Queensland, but I'd also feel sad for people who have made travel arrangements to get to Brisbane for the Grand Final. It's a big event. I don't know who I'm going to go for, Peter. I don't like either team, but for those who are passionate about the Panthers or the Rabbits, I hope they still get to see their Grand Final.
So if just to clarify, so if numbers do pick up in the next few days, do you believe it should be cancelled or postponed?
Well, I don't have a particular case number in mind. I don't know. I'll leave others with more expert knowledge. I just hope there's not a knee-jerk reaction here. I think at the moment, at least, let's just wait and see and take a breath. But obviously, if case numbers grow by up to the hundreds and that would be too high. What's in between where we are now and that figure, I don't know. I'll leave that to others.
Yeah, mate. I only asked because we had the epidemiologist, or we didn't. Another network had Mary Louise McLaws on this morning, who said that it should be cancelled or postponed. So I thought I'd get your response to that.
Well, I think that's a little bit over dramatic at this stage. Let's take a breath and evaluate things when we've got more information.
Okay, let's go to net zero. You said you are dead set against net zero on the weekend. What would it take to appease you?
Well, I'm just not for sale, Peter. My loyalty is always to the workers and families that I represent, especially here in Central Queensland. Tens of thousands of them rely on the coal industry, and the UN said the other day that if we were to go to net zero emissions, we have to end coal mining in Australia by 2030. So that's just not something I can contemplate or trade off. I don't operate like that. I've got a position.
But coal is going to continue to be a part of it.
Well, not according to the UN. And no one can really answer the question if we're going to net zero emissions by 2050, do we export coal? Is there a coal industry? Because I think there bloody well should be. And then the bigger point here, the broader point, is right now, I reckon we've got to focus on our own defence as a nation. A couple of weeks ago, we were told that the risk of conflict with China meant we had to tear up a multi-billion-dollar nuclear subs deal, but apparently we're going to go to Glasgow in just a few weeks' time and sign a climate change deal with China. And the deal will rely completely on trusting China. So if we can't trust China to respect the peace and stability of our region, how can we trust them to implement a climate change agreement? None of this makes any sense to me.
So there is nothing, just to clarify, there is nothing that can come up in negotiations that's going to make you change your mind?
Well, I'm always just upfront with people, and I don't see that arising as any possibility. I've looked at this in detail. CSIRO did modelling on the cost of net zero emissions. It would lead to a carbon price of more than $200 a tonne in Australia. That would just smash so many industries, smash agriculture. They actually talk in that report of the amount of land under agriculture would have to reduce significantly to reach net zero emissions. We had another report by Ernst & Young confirming that the other day, that they'd like to see millions and millions of more hectares converted back to forestry, and away from agricultural uses. This is just too great a cost for this country, for our country to bear, especially when what's it all going to achieve? If China doesn't act, which I don't think they will, if China doesn't act, it won't change the temperature of the globe. It won't stop any natural disasters. It will just handicap our industry and our ability to defend ourselves. Net zero emissions is not a good deal for Australia. What we need for Australia right now is to restore our industrial economy, bring back manufacturing jobs, whereas a climate change deal on net zero emissions is just another recipe for more manufacturing jobs to leave our shores and go to China.
Okay, what if your party room votes for it? It works on a majority. Will you accept it then?
Well, that's not quite how we operate. We always respect, and these are all hypotheticals. Obviously, you've asked an if question. It's a bit hard to deal with hypotheticals, but the way our party room, and I believe the Liberal Party room operates too, is that individual members are free to have their own positions at any time. We're not the Labor Party. We don't kick people out. Plenty of our members have exercised that right in the past. For example, Darren Chester was vocally in favour of same-sex marriage when the party room had a different view, and that was fine.
Okay.
I completely respected his position, and I expect the same principles to hold in any future debate on any issue.
Well, he's had a crack at you in the last couple of days. What did you make of his comments? He said that you had outlined some things that he thought were offensive.
Well, look, I mean, I can't always guarantee that no one will be offended. As I say, I strongly defend. What I'm focused on is not offending anyone. What I'm focused on is defending workers, defending jobs, because I just think net zero emissions is very good for the banking class, but not very good for the working class. And that's who I try and fight for and represent. Darren's entitled to his views. Tried to call him. He hasn't spoken to me. But it's up to Darren to express his own views, and I'll leave him to commentate on those.
Is all well within the Nats at the moment?
Well, look, there's obviously robust debates about these kinds of issues, but that's good. I mean, it's good to have people, I think, in politics that are willing to stand on their digs. I reckon that's what the Australian people expect and want. As I say, we've always had a tradition of allowing individual members that right to express those views. I think that's our strength, because then people can understand and see that we are authentic human beings. So we're not robots just expressing the daily talking points that have been sent by some faceless person in office. I hope people, what you see is what you get from me. I'm up front. I've got my own perspectives and views. I try and come to those conclusions after great contemplation. And then it's up to the people about who they want to represent them.
Matt Canavan, we're out of time. Talk to you soon.
No worries, Peter. Have a good one, mate.